In a world teetering on the edge of chaos, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse gallop forth, their ominous presence casting a dark shadow over humanity's fate. War, famine, pestilence, and death ride together, unleashing destruction and despair upon the unsuspecting. As their hooves thunder across the land, the end of days draws near, and mankind must confront its deepest fears in a desperate struggle for survival. So, are you ready? As the horsemen are coming, and no one is safe. The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse is a concept that originates from the biblical book of Revelation, specifically chapter 6, verses 1 through 8. It refers to a vivid metaphorical description of four horsemen, each representing a different aspect of destruction and upheaval. These horsemen are commonly interpreted as symbolizing conquest, war, famine, and death, respectively. The historical and cultural significance of the Four Horsemen is substantial. The Book of Revelation, written by the Apostle John, holds immense importance in Christian theology and has influenced various religious and cultural traditions throughout history. The concept of the horsemen has captured the imagination of artists, writers, and scholars, leading to diverse interpretations and representations in different artistic mediums. The first horseman, often depicted as riding a white horse, represents conquest or conquest-driven forces. Some interpretations link this horseman to imperialism, while others associate it with religious or political ideologies that seek to dominate. The second horseman, typically depicted on a red horse, symbolizes war. This horseman signifies the violent conflicts and bloodshed that have plagued humanity throughout history. War can be interpreted as both a physical conflict and a metaphorical representation of internal struggles or societal unrest. The third horseman, riding a black horse, represents famine. This horseman embodies scarcity, poverty, and hunger, highlighting the devastating consequences that result from the deprivation of essential resources. Famine can also extend metaphorically to signify spiritual or moral drought. The fourth horseman, often depicted on a pale horse, signifies death. This horseman represents mortality and the inevitability of death. It reflects the transient nature of human existence and the universal experience of mortality, reminding us of the fragility of life. While interpretations of the Four Horsemen may vary, the overarching theme remains consistent: the inevitability of destruction and upheaval in the world. So, first of all, the White Horseman, one of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, is a fascinating figure that has been subject to various interpretations. The White Horseman is often depicted as riding a white horse, symbolizing purity and righteousness. This horseman's appearance and symbolism have sparked debates regarding its true meaning. One interpretation of the White Horseman associates it with conquest and military power. In this interpretation, the white horse represents the victorious march of conquering armies. The horseman embodies the ambition and desire for dominance and has driven numerous conflicts throughout history. From ancient empires expanding their territories to modern-day imperialism, the White Horseman signifies the destructive consequences of conquest-driven forces. However, another interpretation suggests that the White Horseman represents pestilence or diseases. The association between the color white and purity can be seen in the context of disease outbreaks. Diseases like pandemics can spread rapidly and indiscriminately, causing devastation and death on a large scale. This interpretation aligns the White Horsemen with the challenges posed by epidemics and their far-reaching impact on societies. Throughout history, there have been events that resonate with both interpretations of the White Horsemen. The conquest interpretation finds parallels in conquerors like Alexander the Great and Genghis Khan, who unleashed devastation and conquered vast territories. The historical conquests of empires such as Rome and the colonization efforts of European powers further exemplify the destructive nature of conquest. Secondly, the Red Horseman represents war and conflict. This horseman is often depicted riding a fiery red horse, symbolizing bloodshed and violence. The appearance and symbolism of the Red Horseman provide insights into the nature and consequences of war. War is a concept deeply ingrained in human history and has taken various forms throughout different eras. It embodies armed conflicts between nations, groups, or individuals, driven by political, economic, or ideological motivations. The Red Horseman's representation of war prompts us to reflect on the historical context in which conflicts have emerged. The consequences of war are far-reaching and profound. Firstly, loss of life and destruction are prevalent outcomes. Wars result in the death of soldiers and civilians, and the destruction of cities, infrastructure, and cultural heritage. The Red Horseman symbolizes the brutality and suffering inflicted upon humanity during times of conflict. Beyond the immediate physical consequences, wars have significant political and social ramifications. They can reshape the geopolitical landscape, redraw borders, and alter power dynamics. Wars often give rise to political instability, displacement of populations, and the intensification of social divisions, leading to long-lasting societal trauma. Furthermore, the impact of war extends beyond its duration. Societies affected by conflict experience long-term effects on their economy, healthcare systems, and education. Wars leave a legacy of distrust, trauma, and intergenerational cycles of violence that persist even after peace is achieved. Numerous conflicts and wars align with the symbolism of the Red Horsemen. Examples include World War I and II, the Vietnam War, the Syrian Civil War, and countless others throughout history. These conflicts embody the destructive power of war and serve as reminders of the immense human suffering it causes. Understanding the symbolism of the Red Horsemen highlights the urgency and importance of pursuing peace. Thirdly, the Black Horseman is a symbolic representation of famine and scarcity. This horseman is often portrayed riding a black horse, symbolizing darkness, deprivation, and the absence of sustenance. The appearance and symbolism of the Black Horseman provide insights into the historical and enduring concept of famine and scarcity. Famine and scarcity have been recurring challenges throughout human history. They arise when there is an insufficient supply of food or resources to meet the needs of a population. The Black Horseman's symbolism draws attention to the devastating consequences of these conditions. The consequences of famine and scarcity are severe. They result in malnutrition, starvation, and increased vulnerability to diseases. Famine disrupts social structures and can lead to mass migrations, social unrest, and conflicts over limited resources. The long-term effects of famine can be felt for generations, as it undermines human development and perpetuates cycles of poverty. Understanding the symbolism of the Black Horseman underscores the importance of global cooperation and sustainable development to alleviate hunger and ensure food security. It emphasizes the need to address both immediate humanitarian crises and the underlying factors that perpetuate famine and scarcity. Lastly, the Pale Horseman represents death and the afterlife. This horseman is often depicted riding a pale or sickly green horse, symbolizing the inevitability and finality of death. The appearance and symbolism of the Pale Horseman prompt contemplation on the profound concepts of mortality and what may await beyond. Death is a universal human experience, and its understanding varies across different cultures and belief systems. The Pale Horseman's symbolism transcends cultural boundaries, inviting us to explore the philosophical and existential aspects of mortality. It compels us to confront our own mortality and reflect on the meaning and purpose of life. Throughout history, various cultures have developed diverse interpretations and beliefs surrounding death. Some perceive death as a transition to another realm or an afterlife, while others view it as the end of consciousness. The Pale Horseman's symbolism embodies the mystery and uncertainty that surrounds the journey beyond life. Historical events have often reflected the symbolism of the Pale Horseman. Mass casualties resulting from wars, pandemics, or natural disasters exemplify the overwhelming power of death. Events like the Black Death in the 14th century, the Holocaust during World War II, and recent global pandemics serve as reminders of the indiscriminate nature of death and its impact on societies. Thus, by acknowledging the symbolism of the Pale Horseman, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for the brevity of life and the importance of human connection. In a nutshell, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, the White Horseman, Red Horseman, Black Horseman, and Pale Horseman, are rich symbols that have captivated the human imagination throughout history. Each horseman represents a different aspect of destruction and upheaval, offering multiple interpretations and inviting contemplation on the complexities of the human condition. Which horseman fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments.